Okay, let's get back to part two on this. As we know, the monkey was selected. We had to add the tail to it, and I used the quick selection tool. It gives me, I got about 85, 90% well done, but I'm looking to figure out and pick up all the texture here. Remember when we did the select background, really just amateur? I want to show you a couple good things. So what happens is when I'm selected, notice the bar up top or the bar below has changed. And I'm going to go through some of the selections before we actually get to the actual texture. And the first one is, this is inverse selection. With that being said, I can click invert selection, and you're going to notice nothing changed here on the selection, but notice the outside has some the marquee or the marching ants, as I call them. What that means is, instead of the monkey that we just selected being the active area, everything around it or the background is. It's done very well. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you that it happens by going to the next one up here. It's fill selection. I can come here and I can say, let's fill it with a color. So I click here, color pops up, and let's say okay. Boom. And it didn't fill. Son of a gun. Oh, I know why. Mr. Moran was just foolish. It's over here and the content says color. Yes, I want to do color. I hit okay. And notice there it is. Yes, I make mistakes. I'm okay with that. Embrace the mistakes, people. Embrace them and just move through them. So there it is. I showed you with the inverse. So notice I changed things around. I don't want that, so let's go Control Z. Let's go back and let's get rid of that. Now, my monkey is now the active space. As you can see, the marquee on the outside is gone. The next one is transform my selection, not the photograph, but the selection itself. So I click on that. Notice there's a bounding box around the monkey that I selected. And if I move it, notice just the selection moves. Don't use it too often, but I do use it, especially when I'm trying to get a circle around a world. I want to select so it's perfect, or I have something that's an ellipse or a square or something that I draw. I can easily do that, and that's why I would use that. So that's one of the reasons. Notice it has some of the things that we had when we were actually doing transformation of the photograph. I can flip it horizontally or flip it vertically too. But I'm okay, so I'm gonna cancel that. Don't want to commit to it, so I cancel it back to normal. The next one is the mask. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then, of course, we have what we call the adjustment layers. So the adjustment layers, I can go here and click Create. And notice over on the side here, my adjustments come out. And you see all kinds of different adjustments. Now, I actually had them extended out earlier in class. But notice it will come up with about 7 or 8 over here. And then I'll say See More. This is what I did. I click See More, and we can do Portrait. So notice when I click it here, it changes it. Now notice it changes what was active. And if you see over here, it's going to tell you that there's curves and what the presets are. So let's go back and let's make this a little bit more dynamic. Let's go inverse. And let's go ahead and use the actual adjustments. Come here, we use those adjustments. Let's do that. Notice it turn black and white and it jumps out. Or we can come over here to creative. And let's take care of it. And let's do something like this. And it does something totally different. Oh, I got to go back a second. Putting too many layers on. Again, learning and learning. Let's go back to I got to select my subject again. Oh, shoot, I went too far. Rats. Again, come back down here. It's selected. We're going to inverse it. And let's try one more. Let's try the creative one. Notice how it changes. Just hovering over it. Or it changes. And I hover over it. Or I can do sepia, change it. It's really kind of cool. You just got to hover over to see what's happening, okay, peeps? And it works out really, really well. All right? So that's how it's going to work. That's just the adjustment tool. We'll talk about the paint can in a minute, but we have a selection. Let's go and try and touch this up a little bit better. So it's the very first one. See, it's got that little triangle there like we talked about. When tools have triangle, there's more things there. So let's click and hold. I don't want to select my borders or anything like that or smooth my selection. I want to come down to select and mask. So I selected mask, and notice it changes. And we talked about this in class, but I just want to know it. Oh, I have this in inverse selection, so I got to go back and cancel. Mr. Moran is just doing things crazy today, and I'm okay with that. Let's try this one more time. Let's go to selected mask, and everything red should go away. There we go. Now, it comes in onion skin, as you know, and I'm okay with it. You can see a little difference because I have mine way up there at like 57%, but I just like the red overlay. It just gives me a better visual. It's up to your preference. It's up to you. Now we're going to go to the second tool. It looks like a paintbrush. It kind of looks like it's on fire, and that is my define edges. Now I can make, and I have this brush. I'm going to go across. I want both a little in the red and a little on the monkey itself. I'm going to make mine a little bigger by using the actual brackets. Brackets right makes it bigger. Control Z, boop. Bracket right makes it bigger. Bracket left makes it smaller. So I'll leave it about there. And I'm going to start going like this. And I'm going to go for about an inch or two. I go like 2 inches and I let go and I let the computer do its work. The reason I'm not doing the whole thing at once is because if I don't like a small section of this, I can go back and notice how nice that is. I can go back and get Control Z. Instead of redoing all of my work, it just does a small section. So remember that, okay? And let's see how that's going to work. And look at how nice that is. Now there's a little red there. We're gonna talk about that in a moment. Let's see how this works. Not bad. Let's come around here. And I'm going to save a small section here. Notice I have a refined hair edge way up here where I'm circling around. I could also do that and click here. And let's take a look at what it does here and how well it does. And it did a really nice job here. And I really like what it's done overall. So it looks great. It did a little wonky here because of the branch. So let me see what I can do just doing this. Not too bad. I'm okay with it because people don't know. And I'm actually going to fill this in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the third brush, which is the brush tool. And I'm going to come here and it's either I'm going to add to it so I can reveal things. So I'm adding to it. So watch this. I'm going to come here. I'm just going to add this dark just so it looks a little bit better. It looks like it's got a full tail. Or I'm going to subtract some things. I'm going to go to the minus. Notice there's a little red. I had a little red somewhere. It looks like it picked it up right here or down here. I'm going to, Control Z. There we go. I don't want to subtract things. I want to add to it. So guess what? I'm adding to it again. Just a little right here. And I'm okay. If I want to subtract, I got this little white down here. I subtract. Let's take away this white, and next we're going to make this more of a rounded kind of tail. Mind you, it's not the best, but we're just going to work with it for right now. If I like what I have, which I do, come over the bottom right and say okay. And notice my selection looks a little bit better. Once that's done, let's go ahead and hit that mask tool, and boom, there it is. Let's take a look at it with a black background just to be on the safe side. Gonna just unclick my layer so it says layer 0. Go to my Pokeball and hit solid color. And notice how good that looks. Even the tail looks good here. I could put a little bit more dense in there if I wanted to with the selection tool, using the lasso tool so it looks a little bit more textured. But I think I got something that look really, really nice. And that's how that works, people. I hope that that gives you what you need to know about masks and about what to do in touching things up. Enjoy the day.